Gets Martina Katurba, a sophomore, into the game for the first time. Midfielder for St. Francis. Ball picked up along the sideline by Olympia Garcia. She throws it in. Taken away by Haley Wenberg. Right back to Garcia, though. On the back line, that is Sabia Uyaner. Knocking it towards the sideline. Deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Cardinal Stritch. And another substitution for St. Francis, as Alejandra Alonso checks out, and second Haley comes in for St. Francis. Haley Bazan into the game. Cardinal Stritch in possession right now, trying to work the ball down the field. That was Branas, intercepted. Nice job by Grace McDermott to jump in front of that pass and take it away. McDermott kicks it down towards midfield. Martina Katurba tried to work it forward. Too many defenders there. She started moving backwards, and St. Francis able to hold on to possession. Katurba off to Petrovsky. Kelly Petrovsky loses control. Taken back by the Wolves. Cardinal Stritch on the attack. And Kiki Estrada tackles that ball away defensively for St. Francis. Here's Casey Harris. Harris rolls it back to the defense, and Grace McDermott. McDermott tries to kick it down the sideline. Nobody there, though. Cleared by Danielle Brookshin. St. Francis got the ball back. Kelly Petrovsky lost it. And Cardinal Stritch in possession on the defensive side now. To the left and working their way downfield. This is Mariah Downs. Downs blows by Katurba, but Katurba steps in from behind her and puts her foot in the way. Nice defense by Martina Katurba. Cardinal Stritch still in control. Jenny Nagel along the sideline. Nagel taps it back to Downs. That's Jacqueline Wilhelm, whose pass is deflected. Cardinal Stritch gets it back. No forward momentum at the moment, though. Kronka over to Abby Mansker. And Mansker dribbles it back towards midfield. Now she starts to roll it down the center of the field. This is Kronka splitting a pair of defenders. Kronka gets into the box, cleared. Cleared by St. Francis's defense. There's a kick from long way out. And Carolina Branas is well off target, out of bounds for a goal kick. Carolina Branas took a chance there from well outside. She tried to fire it on the net, but wide to the right. Still 1-0 Cardinal Stritch as we tick down to 15 minutes remaining now in the first half. Yadira Estrada's goal kick goes towards the sideline, stays in bounds. Cardinal Stritch at midfield, taps it back to the defense. Brookshin rolls it towards the sideline, and that one was not saved. It went out. St. Francis at midfield gets the throw in. Lobbed in, quickly cleared. And now Cardinal Stritch on the offensive. They blow by the defense. This is Kronka again, tackled from behind. Good defense by Brittany Cook, and St. Francis is still alive after that big defensive stop. Martina Katurba working her way down the near side is tripped up, and a foul called on Cardinal Stritch. The Fighting Saints get the free kick here from their defensive zone, trailing by a goal as we are past the 2/3 mark of the first half. Kicked over the head of Olivia De La Rosa. Olympia Garcia takes over for Cardinal Stritch. De La Rosa tries to take the ball back off of her foot. She got more foot than ball. Called for the foul on that tackle. And Cardinal Stritch gets the free kick from their defensive side. Played short there by Sibia Uyaner. Instead they reverse field to the left side, but they reverse a little bit too forcefully, all the way out of bounds on that kick. It's a throw in for St. Francis. Fighting Saints lose possession off the throw. Taken by Abby Mansker. Grace McDermott kicks it back down the field, but towards the sideline and out of bounds. Throw in for Cardinal Stritch, and they'll make some substitutions. Marley McAllister is into the game. Mia Badarf is as well. They pull out Caitlin Hawley, so both Hawleys on the bench now. Carolina Branisoria is out of the game too. The throw is headed back by St. Francis, but going back and forth. Finally, the Saints able to take control. Here's Olivia De La Rosa in the box. De La Rosa can't get a clean touch on it before Marina Johnstone steps up and knocks that ball away. Good save by Marina Johnstone. De La Rosa had a step in front of the entire defense. She had only the goalkeeper to beat, but she couldn't do it as Johnstone made a good defensive play from the goalkeeper's position. There's a ball off to the right side from Marley McAllister. McAllister down in the corner. Taps it back towards the middle of the field. Cleared by the Fighting Saints defense. Cardinal Stritch reclaims possession down into the box. It's offsides. Boy, De La Rosa just a moment ago just missed her chance to tie up the score. Footwork maybe off just a little bit by half a step as she was not able to get to that ball before Johnstone dove on top of it. De La Rosa was just trying to tip it past Johnstone there. But not able to get her foot there quickly enough. So it remains 1-0, but you have to be encouraged by what you've seen from St. Francis this last half hour or so. Maybe a little bit more than 20 minutes, not quite a half hour, because it was 25 minutes ago that Cardinal Stritch scored their goal. St. Francis has held steady ever since. Their defense has looked sharp really throughout the game, aside from that one lapse that allowed the goal. A good ball from Carolina Branis that set up the shot from Kronka, back into the box, and a clearance from Haley Wenberg. Cardinal Stritch still in control. Olympia Garcia works it down the field, and again cleared by Wenberg. Saints have actually had the better offensive chances, it has seemed at least, than Cardinal Stritch has as well over these last several minutes as they work the ball down the field again right here, far sideline. Taken away by Cardinal Stritch. Haley Wenberg taps it forward. Knocked towards the sideline by the Wolves and out of bounds. St. Francis throw in. Wenberg tosses it towards Olivia De La Rosa, deflected back the other way by Olympia Garcia. This is Garcia rolling it off to McAllister, and McAllister gets some help from Abby Mansker. Mansker knocks it forward. McAllister once again from Badarf. And ahead to Kronka. Kronka looking downfield for Mariah Downs. She's got her. Downs along the near sideline. Starts to work her way back towards the middle of the field. She kicks it off the leg of Kiki Estrada. And Yadira Estrada unable to save that ball from going out of bounds. So it was deflected by Kiki out the back line. That's a goal kick for Cardinal Stritch, their first of the game. St. Francis has had one, didn't go anywhere. They're hoping that the same result is true here for the Wolves. Down into the corner is Jacqueline Wilhelm. Wilhelm gets to take the corner kick as she tries to help double the Cardinal Stritch lead. There's the kick from Wilhelm in front of the net. Past the flying head, and now on the backside, a shot from Cardinal Stritch and a goal. Mariah Downs off the corner kick makes it 2-0 in favor of the visitors. 9:34 to play in the first half. Corner kick came in a little bit too high, skimmed past the head of a couple of Wolves who tried to jump up and make the play, but it ended up flying all the way out to Mariah Downs on the back end, and Downs was able to just pop it in there to make it 2-0 in favor of Cardinal Stritch with 9.5 minutes to go before the half. Very quickly the other way goes St. Francis, and Marina Johnstone able to make that save off the knee. For Mariah Downs, it's the 4th goal of the season. She's got 10 points total. Badarf knocks it off of Haley Wenberg, and Kiki Estrada keeps it in bounds, but she saves it right to Cardinal Stritch. So the Wolves on the attack. This is Mansker. Mansker pushes it ahead. Downs once again in front of the box. Downs against a couple of defenders, taps it off to the right side, and McAllister. McAllister back to Downs in front of the net. St. Francis's defense holds strong there. Brittany Cook able to clear it briefly. They've not been able to clear it completely, though, as Cardinal Stritch is still in possession. This is Downs working against Estrada, off to Bedard. Now over to Downs again. Kiki Estrada jumps in front of Mariah Downs and takes possession back for the Fighting Saints. Down the field they go. Ball is knocked out of bounds. And a throw-in coming up for St. Francis. They'll have a substitute coming in. Mary Kate Heineck is entering the contest. And Olivia De La Rosa heads out. 8 minutes to play in the first half of today's game. Tossed in down the sideline and cleared by Cardinal Stritch across midfield. But Darf and Wilhelm battling for the ball. Wilhelm gets it, and Wilhelm keeps it in bounds. Wilhelm working against Grace McDermott. McDermott able to wrest control of that ball away, though, from Wilhelm and knock it off Wilhelm out of bounds for a Fighting Saints throw-in. Far sideline on the defensive zone in the field. Ball is kicked across midfield, headed right back the other direction. Olympia Garcia, Cardinal Stritch defender, passes it forward. Headed up into the air by St. Francis and Grace McDermott, and McDermott knocks it out of bounds. Cardinal Stritch plays it backwards. Now they start to work their way forward. That's Downs losing it out of bounds. Mariah Downs, who scored a goal a few minutes ago, unable to control the ball that time. Kicked it out the sideline. St. Francis gets to throw it back in. And right back out of bounds. Cardinal Stritch tosses it in. This time it stays in. And the Wolves work down the field. Nearly taken away by the Saints. It is taken away by the Saints. They try to mount a counterattack here. It's Kelly Petrovsky. Petrovsky turns and shoots to the right side. Nobody there. Easily stepping in on that ball is Bruction. Heineck battling for it for St. Francis. Doesn't win it. Instead, this is Mansker. Mansker to midfield. Passed back. Picked off by Casey Harris. Harris trying to get it ahead to Heineck, but it's deflected back in the other direction and booted towards the net. Off the back line by Madison Hanyon. Hanyon's shot bounces easily into the hands of Marina Johnstone. Less than 6 minutes to play in today's first half. 2-0 Cardinal Stritch has the lead, angling for 3. They won't get all the way down to the net as Kiki Estrada taps it back to Yadira Estrada in the box. Yadira reverses field, kicks it out to the right side, and it's picked up there by Mary Kate Heineck, who can't control it. This is Garcia. Olympia Garcia against a couple of defenders. Pushes it onward to Kronka. And right back. Good ball movement here by Cardinal Stritch. Pops down the field. Haley Wenberg there to clear it. Off to Madison Hanyon. Down the sideline. They just do keep it in. Cardinal Stritch. But Grace McDermott trying to do her best to get it out. She deflects it off of the attacker, and it rolls all the way to the back line and out of bounds there for a goal kick. McDermott was just looking for a throw-in right there, but she got a good deflection, and so instead it's a corner kick. Here's the approach from Estrada. Freshman keeper sends it away, headed right back the other direction by Kronka. And out of bounds. St. Francis throw in. It's tossed into Casey Harris, and Harris is unable to possess that ball cleanly. It goes right off her foot following the throw in and out of bounds. Olympia Garcia knocks it out. Deflected, I guess, though, by Casey Harris. Just 4 minutes to go in the first half. This is Garcia. Passing to Bedarf. And now going further back, Bruction. And Bruction gives it the big kick down the middle of the field. Down to Mariah Downs. Downs is into the box. Yadira Estrada comes sliding in and knocks that ball away from the foot of Mariah Downs, out of bounds. Not the best result there for Yadira Estrada. She wanted to avoid a corner kick, of course, but more than anything, she wanted to avoid a goal. And from that standpoint, she was successful. She was able to knock it away from the foot of Mariah Downs. Last corner kick for Cardinal Stritch turned into a goal. This time they're on the opposite side as Jacqueline Wilhelm gets it set. Wilhelm's kick deflected away in front of the net. Now on the backside, Mariah Downs trying to pick her up. Downs sends it to the backside as well, and it's headed out of bounds. Goal kick for St. Francis this time. Estrada kicks it off the shoulder of Jenny Nagel. But St. Francis is able to go in the positive direction here. Weiser pushes it ahead for Bazan, where it's knocked back away from her and taken by Cardinal Stritch. Here's Kronka tapping it back. Ball loose around midfield, chasing it down from behind. It's Cardinal Stritch on the move. The defense starting to regather itself, and the defense got there quickly. Now Martina Katurba for St. Francis. Loses it out to the right side. Cardinal Stritch takes possession back. Final 2 minutes of the first half. Sent into the box. Long run for McAllister. McAllister tries to take the shot. She just wasn't in position to do it right there. Marley McAllister tried to make a play. She ran down what was not a great ball, but at a very tough angle to try to shoot from. She wasn't able to get anything on the shot and consequently wasn't able to put it in. Here's a throw in for St. Francis. Winberg taking her time. Gets it in to Kelly Petrovsky, but Petrovsky loses it right back out. Throw in for Cardinal Stritch. They send it into the backfield. This is Uyaner.
1 minute.
Knocked away from Olympia Garcia out of bounds. Garcia was the last one to touch it. St. Francis throws it in. Right to Cardinal Stritch. Cleared. Sent back by Haley Wenberg. Here's Casey Harris with 45 seconds to play. And now here's Kronka off to McAllister. McAllister to the middle of the field, picked off by Casey Harris. Harris looks to get it ahead. Nobody there. Just 30 seconds remaining now in the first half. St. Francis trails by 2. As Haley Wenberg knocks it back to Kiki Estrada, and Estrada sends it downfield looking to make up for lost time. It is deflected back by the defense though, and it may just end the scoring of the first half. Down the sideline, 10 seconds to play, and tapped away out of bounds by St. Francis. They're not even going to have to throw it in with 4 seconds to go. Cardinal Stritch does want to try to get one more shot off, and they can't do it. So they threw it in, but let it lie once they did. First half of soccer is behind us. Cardinal Stritch scored an early goal. They scored one late in the first half as well. And at the end of 45 minutes to play, it's 2-0 in favor of the visitors. Still plenty of time to get this thing turned around for the home team, St. Francis. We'll see if they do that with 2 or more goals in the second half in just a little bit. Right now we'll take a break. Cardinal Stritch leads by a pair. And we'll have the second half action for you coming up in about 15 minutes. Second half action just about to get started here in Joliet. The University of St. Francis trails Cardinal Stritch University by a 2-0 count. Terry Bonadonna with you for another 45 minutes of soccer action here. So the Fighting Saints try to make a late comeback in this one. Quick recap of the first half. Goals were scored by Marisol Kronka in the 9th minute, and then in the 36th minute, Mariah Downs, who had come off the bench, was able to poke one in as well. That made it 2-0. Not a whole lot else going on in the first half. There wasn't any reason for controversy at any point. No yellow cards given out. There were only 5 total fouls in the first 45 minutes of action today. In terms of the opportunities, not all that lopsided despite the score right now. Cardinal Stritch, who has the ball right now as we get underway in the second half, did have 8 shots to the Fighting Saints 4, but of those shots for Stritch, 5 of them were on goal. For St. Francis, they put 3 shots, make that 4 shots on goal. So 4 saves made by Marina Johnstone, the keeper of the Cardinal Stritch Wolves. Yadira Estrada back in net right now to try to finish this one off. She and the sophomore Ellie Provo have been splitting time in goal lately. Ellie Provo was the starter to begin the season, but Estrada has performed fairly well today. She may have a shot early on here in the second half, but it is cleared by the St. Francis defense, so no chance for Estrada to make the save, and I think she would prefer it that way. 2-0 Cardinal Stritch leads. We're just a minute into the second half here. So far the ball has been in Cardinal Stritch's attacking zone since the halftime intermission. This is Jacqueline Wilhelm knocking it off towards the sideline. Caitlin Hawley tries to control the ball and pass it off to Mariah Downs, but Martina Katurba jumps in instead. Martina Katurba intercepts it for St. Francis and moves control, going from left to right now. Two teams have, of course, reversed sides. St. Francis will be going from left to right throughout this second half and shooting into the south net, whereas Cardinal Stritch is shooting into the north goal, going from right to left. And they're going in that direction right now with Jacqueline Wilhelm trying to turn it upfield around Madison Hanyon. Towards the sideline, Caitlin Hawley keeps it in bounds, tiptoeing along the line. She did not save it in the end. Ended up just barely rolling beyond the border. Cardinal Stritch lost it out, so it's a throw in here for St. Francis. Haley Wenberg tosses it in overhead. Deflected back in the other direction by Abby Mansker. And in the middle of the field, St. Francis tries to clear, but Mariah Downs gets it off to Nicole Hawley. Nicole Hawley working against Brittany Cook, and Cook pops it up into the air along the sideline. There's Haley Wenberg rolling it off in bounds. She keeps it in bounds as Cardinal Stritch takes possession in the box. The flag goes up, and I think we've got offsides against Cardinal Stritch here. So everybody will move down in the other direction as St. Francis will get a free kick from the very corner of the box down on the far side. Kiki Estrada has the ball set up to boot it away. 42-20 remaining in the second half. That ball is kicked to the reverse sideline and right into the possession of Cardinal Stritch. Jenny Nagel rolls it forward and immediately sent back the other way by the Fighting Saints. Here's Nagel once again, but a foul is called against St. Francis and a banged up player for Cardinal Stritch. That's Abby Mansker. Got her hands on her knees right now, a little bit shaken, but she seems to be overall okay. No medical attention called for so far. Looks like Abby Mansker is going to be all right to hang in there, remain in the game. The clock continues to run towards 41.5 minutes. Mansker has a quick word with today's head official, Chris Bajorek, and he and she both agree that we're ready to go on. So the ball is set now by Jacqueline Wilhelm. Wilhelm, a sophomore out of Munich, Germany, one of a handful of Germans on this Cardinal Stritch roster. And Wilhelm sends this ball packing for the box right at the edge. It is knocked away by Kiki Estrada. Deflected back by Nicole Hawley. Mariah Downs and Hawley playing a 2-man game, but sent away by St. Francis and out of bounds. Throw in here for Cardinal Stritch. It's tossed into Hawley, kicks it back to Jenny Nagel. Nagel looking for the cross. Kiki Estrada steps in front of Caitlin Hawley, but Hawley's able to get just enough on that ball to send it off to Mariah Downs and keep it alive for Cardinal Stritch. Downs passes it back to Wilhelm. Wilhelm going further back into the midfield, and Abby Mansker. Mansker makes a nice move to get around Casey Harris. Wilhelm to Downs, right back to Wilhelm. Wilhelm trying to get it inside. Kiki Estrada steps in, and it's cleared along towards the sideline by Brittany Cook. Out of bounds. Throw in for Cardinal Stritch. They maintain possession. This is Jenny Nagel. Nagel trips over the ball, and St. Francis catches a break as Casey Harris is able to get it going in the other direction. Now it's Haley Bazan losing the ball, and the whistle blows. Foul called against Cardinal Stritch. The Saints roll the ball back to Kiki Estrada. And with 40 minutes remaining on the clock, Estrada sets it up to give the free kick. 2-0, Cardinal Stritch has the lead. They scored one goal early in the first half, one goal late in the first half. Trying to even up the all-time series between these two teams at 11 wins apiece. As St. Francis is not able to mount any attack, rolling the ball out of bounds for a Cardinal Stritch throw-in. There's Kiki Estrada at midfield, knocking it the other way to Olympia Garcia. Garcia working against Kelly Petrovsky, and Petrovsky takes it away. There's a deflection off to Casey Harris on the near sideline. Harris rolls it ahead towards the back line, and it does go out of bounds. Saints unable to save that ball as it goes out for a free kick, a goal kick for Cardinal Stritch. First October game for St. Francis this year after a trying September. They did win their first game of the month back on September 3rd, right here against Asbury University, a non-conference game. Since then, though, they have lost 6 consecutive games, 3 of them in the CCAC. They're 0-3 in conference so far this year. Here's Jacqueline Wilhelm. Wilhelm knocks it ahead off the foot of Grace McDermott, and McDermott pokes it out of bounds. Throw in for Cardinal Stritch. There's a fall chill in the air today. It was a fairly warm day, temperature approaching 70 degrees for much of the afternoon, but as the sun has set, the temperature has dropped as well. Grace McDermott on the defensive side along the sideline, pushes it ahead, taken away by Mariah Downs, but a foul called on Cardinal Stritch. We're at that point of the season now where the sun will have set by 7 o'clock, and so this game started almost entirely in darkness, and of course the sun was fully set within a few minutes of that, so it's all artificial lighting here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Headed away from the box by Cardinal Stritch. Knocked back towards Haley Wenberg, and Wenberg tries to push it back to the offensive side for St. Francis, but she rolls it out of bounds. It was last touched by Cardinal Stritch, deflected out, so St. Francis gets the throw in. Tossed in by Hynek into the box, nobody there in gold, and it's cleared by Cardinal Stritch. Back towards midfield, Grace McDermott tracks it down along the sideline. McDermott ahead for Casey Harris. Harris keeps it in bounds to Madison Hanyon. Now a battle for that loose ball. Martina Katurba comes away with it. Mansker knocks it away from Katurba, but a foul called on the Wolves first. Just over 37 minutes remaining in today's game. So 2-0 Cardinal Stritch lead, but St. Francis has the free kick here in their attacking zone. Kiki Estrada down the field into the box. And headed back the other way by Cardinal Stritch. Here come the Wolves. Long run here from Caitlin Hawley, but Hawley is stalled at midfield where it's taken back by Kiki Estrada. Down the field, Olympia Garcia tries to clear it. She deflects it off of Mary-Kate Hynek and out of bounds along the back line. Goal kick here for the Wolves. The first home game for the Fighting Saints in September 9th. It's only the 4th game they've played here this year out of the 10 they've had total. Last 5 were all on the road. There was a scheduled home game on September 18th. They were supposed to play only 5 of 6 on the road, which is still a pretty high percentage, but not quite the same as having 5 in a row. They would not have had more than 3 in a row at any point. That game on September 18th against Calumet St. Joseph had been played, but that game was canceled as Cal St. Joe's was unable to field a team. They ended up not playing their schedule this year as Yadira Estrada steps up from the goalkeeper's position and kicks it downfield. Casey Harris trying to help her out a little bit, loses the ball to Jenny Nagel. Mariah Downs back to Carolina Branas Soria. And now Caitlin Hawley back to Branas. Down towards the front of the box. Grace McDermott heads it away, but Kiki Estrada loses the ball. Jenny Nagel can't get it by Madison Hanyon. Nagel gets it back to Downs. Mariah Downs takes a wild shot, and it goes well wide to the right, rolls towards the back line, and Yadira Estrada will just watch that ball roll out of bounds for a goal kick. Goal kick for St. Francis with 35 minutes to play. So after 5 straight on the road, 3 of the next 4, including today, are home games. That includes this Saturday evening against Trinity International. Estrada's goal kick is away, a low line drive, deflected back in the other direction. Kiki Estrada puts her foot on it and pokes it back towards midfield. A loose ball secured by Cardinal Stritch. On the far end, it's Hawley. And now Branas into the box. Chasing that ball towards the back line, it's out of bounds. Nicole Hawley tried to make a play on it, but knowing that it was last touched by the defense, she didn't fight too hard for it, allowing instead for the ball to go out the back line for a corner kick. And it'll be set here by Jacqueline Wilhelm, who does have an assist today. Wilhelm assisted on Mariah Downs' goal that came on a corner kick. This one goes in front of the net. Estrada can't secure it initially. Now the ball loose. Estrada tries to fall on top of it. It is knocked away by the St. Francis defense. So the defense stands tall there. I didn't see who got her foot on the ball last, but a nice play regardless of who it was. The entire defense able to step up for St. Francis and roll the ball down into the other direction and across midfield. And now the Fighting Saints trying to mount a counterattack. This is Haley Vazan in the middle of the field, passing it off to Kelly Petrovsky on the right side, and Petrovsky loses it out of bounds, knocked away from her by number 15, Brookshin. Danielle Brookshin, nice defensive play as St. Francis forced to throw it back in bounds, deflected immediately back out for another throw-in. It'll be Casey Harris. Harris tosses it into the box, deflected very quickly by Uyaner. Out of bounds again. Another throw in from near the corner for the Fighting Saints. And Casey Harris set to toss the ball in. Again into the box, off the head of Petrovsky towards the net. Nearly misplayed by Abby Mansker. It's kept alive by St. Francis. Martina Katurbo rolls it off to the right side looking for Casey Harris, but sent the other way. Good clearance by Cardinal Stritch. Knocked up into the air and out of bounds by Brittany Cook. Cardinal Stritch will get to attack here. They're in the attacking third of the field and getting a throw in. Jacqueline Wilhelm mishandled the ball and rolled it forward, so she has to take a few steps back before tossing it in to Abby Mansker. Now in the middle of the field, here's Hawley. 32.5 minutes to play. We're in the second half. Now misplay by the St. Francis defense frees up Wilhelm on the back line. Wilhelm just does keep it in bounds. Now looking for the cross. Here's Mariah Downs. Downs trying to center it. So far, St. Francis' defense has held up. Now a shot from the outside and a goal for Wilhelm. Jacqueline Wilhelm. An impressive shot from well outside. Is able to float that ball in over the head of Yadira Estrada, and it just squeaks in underneath the crossbar. Wilhelm had an assist earlier in the game, and now she adds a goal to her stat sheet today as well. It's 3-0 in favor of the visitors. Cardinal Stritch starting to pull away here as they have dominated the second half to this point. St. Francis restarts play, setting it down into the corner where the ball is knocked out of bounds. Saints last team to touch that one.
Cardinal Stritch goal number 8, Jacqueline Wilhelm.
Jacqueline Wilhelm's goal is her 4th of the season. She picked up her 6th assist of the year earlier today as well. She is the leading point getter on the team, even though both Nicole Hawley and Marisol Kronka have double the number of goals with 8 apiece. Those 6 assists are big for her as well. Here comes Hawley. Nicole Hawley trying to add to her point total for the year. She blows by a couple of defenders and tripped up. And where was she tripped right there? Nicole Hawley, I think, tripped by Brittany Cook there. She got by her just in front of the box, so it's not a penalty kick. We are going to have a booking here as the clock stops at 31:09. So it's not a penalty kick. That's big for St. Francis. As the whistle blew about 1 yard outside of the box. But a yellow card given. I think it was Brittany Cook who committed the foul there. And now a free kick from just outside the box, and a chance for back-to-back goals here for Cardinal Stritch in the span of just over a minute. Wilhelm takes the shot, and this time a little bit too high and out of the range of the net. Wilhelm's had a nice day offensively as the provider of the set pieces for Cardinal Stritch. Not necessarily as involved in the offense as Kronka or Nicole Hawley or Mariah Downs, who has a goal today. But Wilhelm, when she's got a chance to size him up, boy, does she have a good touch. On her goal, it was not on a set piece, but she was able to set herself up from long range without any defensive presence in front of her and put in an impressive shot. And she picked up the assist on a corner kick earlier. Here's Casey Harris for St. Francis, rolling it off to Martina Katurba in the middle of the field. Katurba reverses field to the left side. Ball into the box, knocked away by Caitlin Hawley. Popped in front of the box and cleared by Jacqueline Wilhelm. Ball rolled ahead for Cardinal Stritch into the attacking zone and out of bounds along the sideline. Kiki Estrada gives it off to Grace McDermott. McDermott gets to throw it in with less than a half hour to play in this game. McDermott's throw is received by Brookshin past midfield, and Brookshin sends it back the other way for Cardinal Stritch. Here's Branas pushing it forward. Kiki Estrada is there, and Estrada keeps that ball in bounds, turns it upfield, and passes along the sideline. And now it does go out of bounds. St. Francis gets possession here on the free kick off of Carolina Branas' foul. Kiki Estrada sends it across midfield along the sideline, pushed the other way very quickly by Cardinal Stritch. Bounces once at midfield, and a foul is called against St. Francis. Free kick here for the Wolves. Booted downfield by Brookshin, but there's Grace McDermott to clear it off to the far side. Up in the air from Haley Wenberg. And the flag goes up there. Free kick for St. Francis. The game here in the second half has lost a little bit of the rhythm that it had in the first half. There was a lot of freewheeling back and forth for the first 45 minutes of the game. A lot more stops here in the second half. The foul number has skyrocketed. There were only 5 of them here in the first half. There have been 5 and a yellow card here in the second half, and that comes in just 17 minutes as opposed to the 45 minutes we saw in the entire first half. In fact, that's the 6th foul just now. There's a shot, and off the chest of Yadira Estrada. She's able to get on top of it and make the save, and now the clock stops on an injury. There's an injury for St. Francis. And the training staff comes out to have a look at Martina Katurba, who does roll on the ground and pull herself up to her feet, so that's good for Katurba and the Saints. We'll see if she's good to go right now. She's going to be walking off towards the sideline. It looks like she'll be escorted off the field for now as a couple of Saints over on the sideline set themselves to check in. 3-0. Cardinal Stritch has the lead. Took a good looking shot just a few moments ago. Yadira Estrada was there to make the save. Olivia Hollander comes in for Martina Katurba, who was walking off on her own, and now with a few steps to go to the sideline. She gets a little extra support and now eschews it and does walk off the field under her own strength. Turbo was down on the ground. I didn't see what happened to her there. It was just before the shot. She was a little bit away from the play. She was rolling around on the ground in some pain, but again, she was able to pull herself up and walk off the field all the way from the opposite side and leave play. So hopefully she's okay. The two teams will take the time out to huddle up here and talk things over with 27 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the game. Cardinal Stritch has the 3-goal lead. They got one in the 9th minute from Marisol Kronka, one in the 36th minute from Mariah Downs, and then Jacqueline Wilhelm added her name to that score sheet in the 58th minute. That was just about 5 minutes ago in game time. And now we're ready to continue. Play stopped with an Yadira Estrada save, so Estrada gets to kick it away as we resume action here. Grace McDermott lets that ball roll out of bounds. She'll toss it in. McDermott looking for Casey Harris, but deflected out once again by Jacqueline Wilhelm. And with the Saints getting a throw in here, they'll bring in a few subs as Olivia De La Rosa and Alejandra Alonso check in. A couple of starters back on the field now. This is De La Rosa immediately getting involved, but losing possession to Cardinal Stritch. Casey Harris takes it back, and Harris can't control it for long. Jacqueline Wilhelm. Wilhelm deflected out by Harris. Throw in for the Wolves. Wilhelm wanders down the field and then tosses in behind her to Abby Mansker. Here's Brookshin down the center of the field, headed back the other way by the Fighting Saints. Mansker for Cardinal Stritch. Rolls it ahead and by one defender, can't get it by the others. Brittany Cook knocks it back. Cardinal Stritch working it forward, down into the box and headed away by Cook. And cleared by Madison Hanyon. Hanyon has the full clearance, getting it out of harm's way to midfield. Here comes Cardinal Stritch again. Carolina Brana Soria off to the right side, and Caitlin Hawley. Garcia rolls it to midfield. This is Wilhelm. Wilhelm taps it to her right, gets around Hanyon, passes off to Caitlin Hawley. Wilhelm gets it back, and now Wilhelm on a run into the box. Knocked away from her. Good defense by Cook. Knocked out of bounds. Throw in for Cardinal Stritch. Bronis' pass is intercepted by Haley Wenberg. Wenberg gets it ahead to Alejandra Alonso. Alonso battling with Hawley, loses the ball out of bounds, and Alonso was the last one to touch it. It is a Cardinal Stritch throw, and they send it back to the midfield. In the neutral third, they start to move forward. Caitlin Hawley again. Hawley is picked off, and the ball loose into the box, deflected towards the goalkeeper, and Yadira Estrada picks it up along the back line. 25.5 minutes to play in the game. St. Francis trails by 3. They've not yet been able to take a shot against a stout Cardinal Stritch defense here in the second half. St. Francis, even if they're not able to erase this deficit, they'd love to come back and get at least one goal. They were shut out in their most recent game, trying to avoid 2 in a row. Took an 8-0 loss to Trinity Christian on Saturday. That's a big number, but keep in mind just how good Trinity Christian is. 11-0 on the season, and obviously undefeated in conference at 4-0. Here's Olivia De La Rosa losing it out of bounds. It was poked away by Cardinal Stritch. A throw-in coming up for St. Francis. Excuse me. Throw-in for Cardinal Stritch. De La Rosa was the last one to touch it. Cardinal Stritch, one of the best teams in conference as well, and even they had their troubles against Trinity Christian. Put some goals on the board, they usually do. Here's De La Rosa pushing it to the outside, and Casey Harris. Harris looking for the cross, takes a shot instead near the back line. Odd angle to be shooting from, but a good save made there by Marina Johnstone as she was able to slide in on her knees at the front post and make the stop. Coming into play today, Cardinal Stritch had 36 goals in 9 games. So if St. Francis holds them off the board the rest of the way, they actually held them under their season average of 4 goals per game. Against Trinity Christian, though, they had some defensive problems. Trinity scored 6 times against them in a 6-3 final score. Cardinal Stritch only allows, aside from that game, 1 per game. 6 of the 15 goals they've allowed all year came in that one day. Aside from that, their defense has been great. They're averaging to win their games about 4-1. It's not too shabby as the Saints try to get on the board against them. Getting the ball into the box along the back line. Johnstone tries to make the play, but the ball is kicked away from her. And out with the net empty, the Saints can't get a clean look at it. That was empty for just a moment, but the ball was never freed up in a position where any St. Francis attacker could get a clean look at the goal. Or a clean look at the ball, really. And so the Wolves are able to dodge a bullet there. Grace McDermott tosses it back in. Hagley Vazan in the corner. Can't keep it in bounds. It goes out along the sideline. It's a St. Francis throw-in. And now Cardinal Stritch will get a free kick from that same spot. Cardinal Stritch show 3-1 in conference, so their only loss was to Trinity Christian. Trying to pick up their 10th, 11th, and 12th points of the conference season today. 2 other teams, along with St. Francis, were winless in conference play coming into this one. McDermott tosses it into the box off of Olivia De La Rosa. Nearly taken away by Jacqueline Wilhelm. And a foul is called against St. Francis. Roosevelt 0-3 in conference and winless overall in the season. Holy Cross 0-4 in conference play this year. And Holy Cross today hosted Robert Morris. Didn't get a result on that one earlier this evening. Roosevelt was at Trinity Christian earlier today as well, or rather Trinity International. So all 3 teams trying to pick up their first conference win of the season today. St. Francis, if they can't get it today, will get another chance against those same Trojans of Trinity International. That game on Saturday, 5 o'clock. Next clash for St. Francis after today. Ball sent in front of the net, and Marina Johnstone races in to scoop it up. 21.5 minutes to go. We are in the second half of action here. This one has been controlled by by Cardinal Stritch, but St. Francis has gotten a few better looks over the last few minutes, starting to get their offense rolling once again, the way it looked in the first half, in which they were able to get 4 shots on goal. They've got 6 shots overall in the game. All of them have been on goal. But Marina Johnstone has not had any exceptionally difficult saves. Cardinal Stritch takes the ball all the way down to the attacking third of the field and down into the corner. That loose ball chased down by the Wolves and Carolina Brana-Soria. Knocked back to Abby Mansker. Mansker rolls it off to Garcia. Olympia Garcia to Jacqueline Wilhelm. Wilhelm sends it back down into the corner. Caitlin Hawley, long run, trying to save it. She does. She loses her balance in the process. Is able to get up, though, and keep it in bounds, though. Hawley looking for the cross, and Casey Harris knocks it away and out of bounds along the far sideline. Throw-in coming up for Cardinal Stritch. We'll get a couple of substitutes coming on during this brief respite in the action. Mia Bedarf, who played in the first half, comes back on, and she's joined by Nicole Greenwood out of Bournemouth, England, who gets her first action in the game. Clock ticks down to 20 minutes here. Cardinal Stritch has the big lead. Ball tossed in, deflected back by the Fighting Saints defense. Here's Branas. Branas rolls it ahead into the box. There's a shot with Yadira Estrada racing out to deflect it. Nicole Hawley came in to shoot, going up against Estrada, and Yadira Estrada able to get her hand on that ball, wrap it out of bounds. So it's a corner kick for Cardinal Stritch, but a nice play by Estrada to prevent the goal from Nicole Hawley. Jacqueline Wilhelm has done a good job on the corner kick so far today, but she just checked out about a minute ago. So a new corner kicker now. It's Mia Bedarf who will take it. Kick from Bedarf goes in front of the net, poked away by Estrada. There may have been an offsides there anyway, uncalled, as Casey Harris knocks it out of bounds, uncalled because Estrada knocked the ball away. Cardinal Stritch still in possession. taken back by Casey Harris for the moment, and Harris does have it off the pass from Olympia De La Rosa. Now St. Francis has a little attack going. Casey Harris rolls it ahead for Haley Bazan, and it's knocked away from her. Now she's on the ground as Cardinal Stritch takes possession. See if Haley can get herself up here and keep playing. Looks like she will. St. Francis does bring themselves back in control of the ball, taken away by Mariah Downs, and Downs sends it all the way back into the box where Estrada is able to pick it up. Yadira Estrada drops that ball and punts it well across midfield. Olivia De La Rosa trying to make a run for it. De La Rosa can't possess the ball though. Instead, it's Brookshin who starts moving in the other direction. Pulling it in for Cardinal Stritch, it's Mariah Downs. Mansker rolls it to the right side. That was Greenwood towards midfield and intercepted here by Kiki Estrada. Estrada works her way into the middle of the field, passes it ahead and into the box. There's a ball to the middle of the field. Estrada coming in from the back end. Grace McDermott. McDermott takes a shot and just misses wide to the left. Estrada and McDermott both made a run for that ball. And they were free with no defenders in front of them. The shot came in just wide to the left. A good looking attempt right there from St. Francis. Just missed on it. Out of bounds for a goal kick. Subs coming in for both sides. Susan Melian is in for Cardinal Stritch. Kelly Petrovsky back in for St. Francis. Petrovsky immediately getting herself involved in the action, but it's knocked away from her. Bedarf losing it to Olivia Hollander. Hollander sends it back into the box where Marina Johnstone is able to pick it up. Johnstone takes her time and punts it downfield. 16.5 minutes to go in the game. Olivia Hollander trying to head it over to Casey Harris, sent back the other way by Cardinal Stritch. Here's Marisol Kronka, who's not been quite as active here in the second half as she was in the first. And a trip. Susan Melian called for the foul on that trip. St. Francis will get a free kick. Casey Harris will go over, set it up, and boot it downfield. Already across midfield here on the right side, just over 50 yards out. Harris shoots it into the box, bounces once and headed back the other way by the team in gray. There's Bedarf losing the ball. St. Francis has it. Casey Harris from Hanyon. Down to the corner, Olivia De La Rosa trying to chase it down, but out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick for the Wolves. Cardinal Stritch now just over 15 minutes away from their 8th victory of the year. St. Francis continues to struggle offensively. They've scored just 6 goals through 9 3/4 games this season. This one really more 5/6 of the way done. About 83% of the way through this game, but they did score 3 goals in their home opener August 26th in a tie against Harris Stowe. So a big offensive outburst early in the year for St. Francis. They scored 3 goals in that one game, but they have just 3 goals since then. In their last 7 games, a combined total of 3, and they've been shut out in 5 of their last 6 contests, trying to avoid 6 out of 7. Excuse me, 4 of their last 5. They're trying to avoid 5 of their last 7 today. I'm going to get this right eventually. They've been shut out 4 of the last 6 times. This would make 5 out of 7 if they can't get one in the next 14.5 minutes. Cardinal Stritch has the 3-goal lead. And they've got possession of the ball right now on the far sideline. The ball sent in towards Nicole Hawley. Hawley spins towards the middle of the field, but Grace McDermott sends it off to the left side. Nice clearance from Grace McDermott. Cardinal Stritch regains possession of the ball in the middle of the field, attacking third. Here's Mansker driving ahead for Hawley, passing it off to Mariah Downs. Downs in front of the net, sends it in, past the diving Yadira Estrada, and it's 4-0. Cardinal Stritch extends their lead with 13 minutes and 51 seconds remaining.
Let's go, Stritch!
Second goal for Mariah Downs.
Cardinal Stritch goal number 7.
Nice effort there from Yadira Estrada. Downs seemed to have a pretty clear path at the net. Estrada dove for it though and nearly made the stop. I think she deflected. It looked like she slowed it down a little bit, but the ball just trickled into the back of the net anyway. So it's 4-0 Cardinal Stritch. Here's De La Rosa losing control to Brookshin. Big game for Mariah Downs, coming in off the bench late in the first half. Downs came in with 3 goals on the season, and now that total nearly doubled up to 5. So she has scored twice. Kronka has scored once. Wilhelm has a goal on the board as well, and now Badarf trying to add to it as Badarf takes a shot to the right side. It's out of bounds, well wide, not really close that time. Yadira Estrada gets to set it up for the goal kick. Cardinal Stritch slows the game down a little bit with a substitution. Marley McAllister checks in for Danielle Brookshin. St. Francis gets it across midfield. Petrovsky trying to chase that ball down and keep the attack going. She is not able to possess it, but Casey Harris comes in and does. Harris takes a shot from long range, and that's just high. It's the second time in the last few minutes that the Saints have taken a long-range shot and just missed it by inches. One of them wide to the left, that one from Casey Harris just a little bit high. For now, Cardinal Stritch maintains the shutout, but you have to like the attacking mentality from St. Francis here late in this game. Olympia De La Rosa trying to chase down that ball, but Grace McDermott gets to it first. McDermott takes the shot. Johnstone hits it up in the air. Still alive, though. She was not able to secure it cleanly. Ball along the sideline and out of bounds, last touched by St. Francis. So Cardinal Stritch is able to clear that ball out of the zone. They're now trying to clear it to the other side of the field entirely. Mariah Downs loses possession to Kelly Petrovsky. Here's De La Rosa. De La Rosa knocks it backwards, intercepted by Marisol Kronka. Abby Mansker slows it down. Under 12 minutes to play in the game. Back towards the goalkeeper, Yadira Estrada. Sends it soaring across midfield. It bounces a couple of times. Petrovsky and De La Rosa both chasing after it. But McAllister gets there first for Cardinal Stritch and sends it the other way, but out of bounds. St. Francis throws it in. Casey Harris. A little bit too strong for Kelly Petrovsky. And Mariah Downs takes it away for the Wolves. Off towards the sideline. That's Susan Melian. Melian reverses field, pushing it to the right side. Marisol Kronka loses control. St. Francis takes it away, loses it right back, but a foul call. Foul called on Cardinal Stritch. Over aggressive defense there from Nicole Greenwood, and the Saints get a free kick and perhaps close enough to try to put this one straight on the net. This one's just over 30 yards out, slightly to the left. Kiki Estrada sets it up to take the kick. Estrada ready for the approach here. We'll see what she has planned on this one. Certainly within range if she wants to take the shot here. A lot of movement from St. Francis's offensive players down the field a little bit. There's the go-ahead. Estrada does try to push it towards the back line, but well wide of the mark and out of bounds. So Kiki Estrada tried to put it on net. Didn't work out. Goal kick here for Cardinal Stritch with under 10 minutes to play. Headed back by Cardinal Stritch and Mia Badarf, but out of bounds. St. Francis gets to throw it in. This is Grace McDermott. McDermott lobs it softly. Here's Olympia De La Rosa. De La Rosa tries to cut it towards the inside. She does get into the box, and she takes a shot, but De La Rosa is saved by Marina Johnstone. Johnstone makes the save on Olivia De La Rosa's shot. Cardinal Stritch goes the other way, and a foul resets this possession as they start it all over again. Towards the midfield stripe. Olympia Garcia dribbles it past. Passes off to her left, rolled ahead for Mariah Downs. Downs tries to turn it upfield. Nice job to keep control of the ball, but as she tries to pass it to Nicole Hawley, it's intercepted by Grace McDermott, and the Saints able to clear for the time being. Cardinal Stritch steps up once again. This is Downs. Downs deflected by Hanyon and cleared by Haley Wenberg across midfield. Deflected back in the other direction by Cardinal Stritch. Mansker rolls it forward, looking for Nicole Hawley, but Hawley was offside, so she tries to chase that ball down. The whistle blows, and she slows up. Yadira Estrada just rolls it ahead for the St. Francis free kick. There's a ball off towards the sideline, the near sideline for St. Francis, but intercepted there by Melian. Ball loose around the middle of the field and picked up by Mariah Downs. Downs gets it ahead to Bedarf. Bedarf, working with some teammates to her right, sends it in towards the box, and Yadira Estrada steps up to scoop that ball out of harm's way and clear it for St. Francis. The ball bounces past midfield. And this is Kelly Petrovsky. Petrovsky kicks it off to the near side, knocked away by the Wolves. There's Melian with a bad pass. It's intercepted by Kelly Petrovsky. Petrovsky looks in front of the net, and it's cleared by Cardinal Stritch high up into the air, still loose just outside the box. St. Francis tries to keep the pressure on. That ball bounces out of bounds. Grace McDermott will throw it in. But we got a substitution first. Several substitutes coming in for the Fighting Saints. Mary Kate Hynek is back in. They also bring in Sarah Heimberg for the first time, and Aurelie Sanchez for the first time as well. 7 minutes, 15 seconds to play in the game as McDermott now does finally toss it in. This is Sanchez. Sanchez looking to get it to the middle, passes back to Casey Harris. Harris to the backside. There's a shot and a goal. Goal scored by Haley Wenberg off the feed from Sanchez off the backside. 7:03 to go, and the Fighting Saints have struck. It's a 4-1 game. For Haley Wenberg,
St. Francis goal.
senior
Number 12,
defender.
Haley Wenberg.
That is the first goal of the
Assisted
year.
by Harris.
Good to see Wenberg get on the board. One of the captains on this team. Doesn't get too many chances to score because she's on the defensive end. But one of the most reliable performers on this team, and she breaks up the shutout with just 7 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. And a good pass from Casey Harris to set it up as well, so give some credit to the veteran Harris, who now has 2 assists on the season. Still a big lead for Cardinal Stritch, but 4-1 looks a heck of a lot better than 4-0. Saints trying to keep that pressure on. It's knocked away by the Cardinal Stritch defense. There's Bedarf, nearly had it taken away from her, but a good pass to get rid of the pressure. And there's Heimberg chasing it away. Sarah Heimberg takes control, but loses it right back to Cardinal Stritch, and Marley McAllister. McAllister knocks it out of bounds for the Fighting Saints throw-in. McDermott steps up from the back line to toss it back in play. Grace McDermott throws it into the box, headed towards the back line by Grace McDermott and out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick here. Next up for St. Francis after today, Trinity International. They're 4-5-1 so far on the season, entering play today. It's a Saturday evening contest, 5 o'clock this coming Saturday. Cardinal Stritch on the defensive end, trying to hold on to possession here. It's Susan Melian. Melian going up against a couple of Saints, though, just rolls it behind her, and she has some help there from Marley McAllister. McAllister clears it back towards midfield and out of bounds along the near sideline. Picked up by Brittany Cook to toss it in. Cook throws it in off of Bedarf, who loses possession to Grace McDermott. There's a ball from Madison Hanyon off to Mary-Kate Hynek. Hynek loses possession, and Cardinal Stritch clears. Down the field for Cardinal Stritch, Nicole Hawley making a run on it, but Kiki Estrada kicks it away from her. Deflected out of bounds, last touched by Bedarf. Just about 4.5 minutes to play in this game as St. Francis tries to get another one on the board, trailing 4-1. They scored their first goal just 2.5 minutes ago. Kiki Estrada rolls it ahead. This is Olivia Hollander. Hollander gets it off to Sanchez. Making her way forward is Madison Hanyon. Hanyon loses possession. Cardinal Stritch takes it back. This is Abby Mansker. Downs intercepted by Casey Harris. Harris picked up an assist a few moments ago, and now working briskly down the field again. She rolls it ahead, but doesn't have any help there. Johnstone steps up and makes the stop. Johnstone kicks it downfield and hooks up with Olympia Garcia, short of midfield. Rolled off to Mansker, now at midfield. This is Kronka, losing it to Kiki Estrada. Nicole Hawley jumps in and deflects that pass out of bounds along the near sideline. Throw in for the Fighting Saints. Grace McDermott will do the honors. Headed up in the air by Bedarf. And the loose ball taken by St. Francis. Harris looking for Heimberg, couldn't find her. Across midfield, this is Hynek. And Hynek passes it off to Olivia Hollander, who scoots it down towards Areli Sanchez, but the first one to get there is a Cardinal Stritch Wolf, Nicole Greenwood, who clears it going the other way. Under 3 minutes to play in the game. There's a trip as Olympia Garcia heads to the ground, and Garcia is fouled, still down. It'll be a free kick for Cardinal Stritch when she's able to get up and go once again. Clock continues to run as Olympia Garcia tries to pull herself to her feet. Looks like she'll be okay to continue. And play goes on. Kronka holds it, passes back behind her to Mansker. Downfield for Kronka once again. Long run to try to get to this ball. She's not the first one to get there. Kiki Estrada comes up upon it first and keeps it in bounds. Estrada trying to get around Kronka, but Kronka takes it away. Good play by Marisol Kronka, sophomore attacker. She passes off to Bedarf. Bedarf working on Casey Harris. Pushes it back to the middle of the field and rolls it off for Susan Melian. Melian loses possession. It's Casey Harris who takes it for St. Francis. Harris working her way down the near side, looking ahead for Sanchez, and before Sanchez can get there, the ball is pushed away by Sabia Uyaner. A whistle blows with the ball at midfield. We're going the other way. St. Francis possession, less than a minute and a half to go now. 4-1, Cardinal Stritch has the lead, and the Wolves appear to be on their way to their fourth conference victory, where the Saints would drop to 0-4 in CCAC play. Kiki Estrada right at midfield. Takes a big kick down into the box. Knocked back towards Heimberg. Heimberg rolls it ahead for Johnstone. Johnstone picks it up.
1 minute.
Heimberg not able to control that ball and get a clean shot. It just kind of rolled off of her foot. And a little bit harder than she would have liked because she didn't get a second chance at it. Marina Johnstone was able to sit back and receive that slow roller towards her. So it's the final minute to play here as Cardinal Stritch looks to add one more to their advantage. Down on the far side, this is Olympia Garcia. Garcia crosses it to Mariah Downs. Downs looking for the hat trick. Controls it, takes the shot, and it's saved by Yadira Estrada. Nice effort from Mariah Downs, but it appears she'll come up short in her quest for 3 goals today. I doubt we'll see Cardinal Stritch with another real shot at scoring here. The ball is bounced back to the defensive side of St. Francis. The Saints are trying to get one last attacking run in. Casey Harris in possession, and She can't win that battle with Marley McAllister. It's knocked out of bounds. St. Francis throw. But we're in the final 5 seconds here. As Harris lobs it in, the Saints will not get a chance to get another shot here. Clock runs out. And we have a final score here of Cardinal Stritch 4, St. Francis 1. Game comes to an end with the visitors on top. Cardinal Stritch wins their 3rd consecutive decision against St. Francis over the last few years, and they improved to 8-2 on the season and 4-1 in conference play. The Saints, one of the few teams to be sitting at just 4 conference games this year because they already had their scheduled meeting with Calumet St. Joseph, which was canceled. Everybody's meeting with Calumet St. Joe will be canceled when they get to that point. But St. Francis, for now, a game behind most of the teams in terms of games played, and they are now 0-4 in conference play this year. Quick recap of the scoring in today's game. It started pretty early for Cardinal Stritch as Marisol Kronka off a very nice pass from Carolina Brana-Soria scored the first goal in the 9th minute to take a 1-0 lead, a lead that Cardinal Stritch would not relinquish the rest of the way. St. Francis' defense played well for the remainder of the first half, but in the 36th minute, Mariah Downs came in off the bench and scored her first goal of the game. That made it 2-0 Cardinal Stritch. That was the score at halftime. And then Jacqueline Wilhelm struck in the 58th minute. Wilhelm had picked up an assist on a corner kick on the goal from Downs earlier in the game. This time Wilhelm, an absolute beauty over the head of Yadira Estrada, made it 3-0 in favor of Cardinal Stritch. In the 77th minute, Mariah Downs struck for a second time. Downs' second goal in the 77th minute made it 4-0 Cardinal Stritch, and the lead at that point seemed to be impenetrable. St. Francis indeed was not able to come all the way back, but they did get one on the board off of a nice feed from Casey Harris. Haley Wenberg scored her first goal of the year in the 83rd minute. That made it a 4-1 score, and ultimately a 4-1 final score. The Cardinal Stritch Wolves defeat the University of St. Francis Fighting Saints today. With the win, Cardinal Stritch now 8-2, 4-1 in conference. With the loss, St. Francis is 1-8-1. They are 0-4 in CCAC play. They won't have to wait too long, though, to get another chance. Just 4 days from today, they take on the Trinity International Trojans. It's a 5 o'clock start time on Saturday evening right here on ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium, and I'll be here. Hopefully you'll be here with me taking in that broadcast, as we will have that for you on the St. Francis YouTube channel, accessible as always through GoFightingSaints.com. Once again, our final score today, Cardinal Stritch 4, St. Francis 1. That's going to do it for our broadcast. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves today. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Good night, all.